While we wait for people to choose the breakout rooms, would someone like to present yourself here? The new guys.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, it's Ilya. My name is Ilya. I'm from Bulgaria. And I'm new to the whole Catalyst thing. And the Fund 7 was the first fund that I voted in. And I'm trying to read through all the things that there are online. That's so much information that my head spins. And I'm trying to organize all that data that is new to me in some reasonable way that I can comprehend. And for Fund 8, I have the idea to become a community advisor, because in Fund 7, I read through all the proposals that I understood. Since I'm doing all that work, I'd better help some other people that don't have the time to read through and spend so much time and summarize what I can for them. And as far as I can understand, community advisors do that.
Yeah, this is one of the roles, one of the jobs of community advisors. But for example, what you've just mentioned, there is a voting tool where you can choose your preferred proposals and share your voting pick list with others to facilitate their voting, so they don't have to go through all the proposals themselves as well. And this is going to be very good now with the delegation that was presented during the town hall today. James, I saw you unmute yourself. Hey.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I've kind of got really sort of interested in this project really only over the last couple of months. I've sort of been interested in Cardano for a while, but I started sort of kind of trying to dive in, and there's so many different avenues that I haven't found my roadmap yet, and so that's part of the reason I'm in this breakout room. You know, I've looked at community advisor role. I try to keep up with the chat on Telegram. That's a full-time job in itself, and you know, there seem to be so many opportunities and so much growth happening at the moment. It's a really exciting space. So I'm just trying to find the best route for education for myself. I'm not technically trained. So that's, although I want to gain more understanding of that sort of side of things, that's not really my place within Catalyst, I don't think, because, you know, there's so many talented people there already. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this all develops and grows. And I will be jumping in and out of the chat a little bit because I'm at home with my kids and it's bedtime, so I'm going to try to balance the two. But yeah, that's me. Hi.
Great, thanks. Good to have you here. And I saw your message in the chat, Megan. Welcome here as well, and no worries. We know that the time is not the best for everyone. Some people have to join during their work time. I used to be like this a few months ago, before I left my day job to be full-time Catalyst in Cardano. So would someone else like to present themselves? Otherwise, we can start with the workshop itself. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see it. Yep. Oops. So, hello and welcome everyone again. This is the workshop Introduction to Catalyst. This is the first one of a series of workshops that the Catalyst School offers during every Catalyst fund. This is the first one. Then after this one, we have proposing in Catalyst, how to be a community advisor and how to be a veteran community advisor. They are all timely placed right before each of these roles has to act in the Catalyst process. So you can join all of them. They're all free. We got funded through Catalyst itself. And yeah, so the Catalyst School is a place to leverage the impact of Catalyst as a whole by introducing and improving the contribution of all its different players and roles, as I mentioned. And there are some new roles being created. I'm going to talk about this during the presentation. And the Catalyst School is probably coming up with more workshops besides this one that I've just mentioned. And the ways that we provide information for people is through live sessions and workshops, like this one, for example. We have one-to-one and group multi-language support, because we understand that not everyone can attend these workshops, or they don't feel comfortable asking questions during these workshops. So there's a form, you can ask for support there, and we have more than 10 languages. We need to confirm how many people are going to be available now for Fund 8, but last fund we had 16 different languages that we could provide support in. We are developing a website as well, as I mentioned during town hall. This is going to be launched probably next week or the week after, and is a way for you to read all the information you need to know about Catalyst, about the different roles as well. And yeah, our idea is to introduce people to Catalyst and educate about Catalyst roles, as I just mentioned. So let's get into the workshop itself. So just before we start, if you have any questions at any time, we are in a small group here. You can unmute yourself or raise your hand if you prefer. And we expect this workshop to last for 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half tops. But if you have to leave soon, no problem. The recording is going to be available in our YouTube channel, so you can check it out later. So first of all, what is Catalyst? Before I show our answers here, there's no right answer for this question, but would anyone like to give their perspective about what Catalyst is? Yeah.
Yes, I can say what I imagine Catalyst is. For me, Catalyst is a place for experimentation in governance of community. And in this place, people propose ideas that are discussed, improved, and maybe funded if enough people vote for these ideas.
Yeah, very good. You covered many things that the Catalyst is, Project Catalyst is. Anyone else? Yeah, James. So you're trying to unmute yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on an iPad and.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so I've been sort of trying to follow what's going on with Catalyst, and this sort of overwhelming thing for me is this kind of sort of sense of change and actually being, you know, part of something that could be really big, which, you know, is kind of like the excitement behind there. But there's obviously creates a lot of challenges because it's so new. You know, there's a lot of ideas, and because people are passionate, you know, that creates challenges in itself. But it's that makes it exciting. So it's just a really innovative space.
Yeah, you're right as well. And so let's see what's here. Catalyst is a safe environment to explore the highest potential of human collaboration. As you both just mentioned, we are a bunch of people working together here. We have different goals, Some of them overlap with each other, some are completely different, but we are here for the same reason. We want to collaborate, and we are learning how to collaborate in a decentralized space, because this is something that is very new to everyone. Blockchain is a new technology that allows different things that we never had before, and we are trying to use it to create new ways of working together that we never had before as humanity. And it is also a innovative idea marketplace, as you guys mentioned as well. It is essentially a funding mechanism of the Cardano blockchain. We have every 3 months this fund that's going to release millions of dollars to different projects, and for the different roles as well that are helping the project to keep going. And it is an idea marketplace because you can submit your idea there. It doesn't have to be a project. It can be only an idea. If the community likes it, it's their choice to take the risk and fund your idea. And anyone can submit an idea in Project Catalyst. There are almost no requirements for this. And as I said, Catalyst distributes money through funding rounds that occur every three months. And they have been doubling its size since Fund 2. Fund 1 didn't have any budget, but for Fund 2 it was $250,000, then $500,000 in Fund 3, then Fund 4 $1 million, and here we are. Next fund is 16 million for Fund 8. And inside each fund, there are different categories that we call challenges. I think it was Chris or Danny that presented during the town hall today the different challenges that are within Fund 8, because the whole budget of this fund is $16 million, but there are different categories with different goals. So you should, if you are a proposal, for example, you should find the best challenge or the best category to submit your proposal according to the challenge goals, the KPIs, and the objectives of each specific challenge. And they have different budgets. It's not the same budget, and the budget for each of these challenges was decided in a previous fund. For example, in Fund 7, the community voted for the challenges to be in Fund 8. Any questions so far?
Yes, I have a question. Is the idea marketplace in any way connected to the challenges for the current or the next fund?
For the current fund, idea marketplace is just a term that tries to describe how it works, because we use a platform. I'm going to talk a bit about this in a few slides. That is called idscale, and everyone can sign up there and submit their idea or their project as a proposal. And at the end, all the proposals and ideas that were submitted there are going to be voted for or against by the community. So idea marketplace is not a formal term of Catalyst. It's just a way to try to describe how it works. So moving on, if we don't have any further questions here, let's talk a bit about the different roles that exist inside Catalyst, within Catalyst. So the first one is the proposer. And what is a proposer? It's basically anyone, either a group or individual, that submits a proposal in Catalyst. And as I said, a proposal can be just an idea, or it can be a complete project, and you don't have to prove any credentials to submit a proposal. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to hold ADA. The only things you need to do is to sign up in idscale and have a ADA wallet, so you can receive funds after, if in case you get funded. Next role is the community advisor and veteran community advisor, and they are responsible for assessing the proposals. This is the job of the CAs. They are going to evaluate proposals and give them a score from 1 to 5 based on 3 different criteria. And the average of these 3 scores is what the voters are going to see at the end. And they are going to take this into account when they are voting the process. And it's important to notice here that the score is not directly related to who gets funded, but they have a huge influence on the outcome because the voters are going to use them as a reference of the quality of the proposal. So for example, if you submit just an idea without a implementation plan, without auditability plan, then you're probably going to receive a low score, and this is going to affect your chances of getting funded in that fund. At least you can always resubmit and improve for next funds. And the veteran community advisor is the quality assurance layer of Catalyst. They are responsible for filtering out the bad quality assessments, because anyone can be a CA in the same way as a proposer. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to hold ADA. You just need to be available and sign up for being a CA in a specific fund, and you can assess proposals and get paid for it. So since we don't ask for any kind of certificates or background or skills or anything like that for anyone to be a CA, we need to check if their assessment has a good quality or not. And that's the job of the VCAs. They filter out the bad assessments if they are not following the guidelines, and also they differentiate good and excellent assessments that's going in. And this is related to the payment that CAs received at the end of the fund. Voter, which is anyone who holds at least 500 ADA. So there is a requirement for you to be a voter. You have to have at least currently 500 ADA, but this is the current number. I think that in Fund 8, it was 8,000 ADA, and then in Fund 5, in Fund 4, it was 3,000, and then it dropped to 500 ADA. And this is decreasing over time. And in the future, I think that there's not going to be a requirement like this anymore. So basically, anyone who holds at least 500 ADA in a wallet in Cardano blockchain, they can participate in the voting process. If you have 500 ADA but they are in the exchange, then you don't have to vote. You cannot vote. Next one is the
and the ADA should be staked.
And the ADA should be staked. Yeah, thank you. Next one is a referrer. Referrer is just a Catalyst member that brings someone to proposing Catalyst. So if you know about someone who has a project that is related to blockchain, you can bring them to Catalyst so they can use Cardano as their choice for blockchain, and they can add you as a referrer to that proposal. So if you bring them here and they get funded, then you are going to receive some rewards for that. And this is probably the easiest way to receive rewards in Catalyst. Just need to find someone and bring them here. Next one is the Catalyst Circle members. Catalyst Circle is a group of people from the community that get elected, that got elected, and this used to happen every 3 months. Now their mandates last for 6 months, and their goal is to lead the development of Project Catalyst itself, and also try to guide the governance of Cardano as a whole. So this was created in Fund 5. It was the first Catalyst Circle. The second Catalyst Circle just finished a couple weeks ago, and today the new members of the Catalyst Circle were presented during the town hall, and this is the first time that the Catalyst Circle is going to last for 6 months. So there's another role, which is the Catalyst Circle admin, which is a support group the catalyst circle. So the catalyst circle itself doesn't have to deal with many things like scheduling meetings and taking care of Miro boards and Trello boards, for example. So they facilitated the catalyst circle operations, and they are not elected. At first they started to do this in a volunteer basis without receiving anything, and then they submitted a proposal because they thought that this was valuable for Catalyst, and they got funded, and now they are working like this. And this is also a good example of how you can act in Catalyst. You start doing something because you think it makes sense, and then if it really makes sense, if you deliver value to the community, you can submit a proposal and ask for funding in subsequent funds. There is also the challenge team, which is a group of people who is responsible for onboarding people to the different challenges inside Catalyst. They help the proposers to find, for example, partnerships or maybe to merge proposals, and they follow up with them throughout the fund, where they are submitting the proposals, and they are also responsible for keeping track of their progress after they get funded. So this is a new role that was introduced in Fund 7, and now it's the second time in Fund 8 that we have challenge teams. And if you want to participate in a challenge team, you can choose a challenge that you like, you think you can help. And there are also rewards for challenge teams. I think currently $5,000 for the entire team. Yeah, Ilya.
Yes, I have a question about, okay, I have two questions. First, the challenges in Catalyst are like sub-funds. The fund 7, 8 or whatever is the major thing, the higher level category, and sub-funds are called challenges. So challenge for adoption of Cardano, right? For example.
Yeah.
Okay. And the ideas are the what people propose as solutions for these challenges. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You can think of the fund, Fund 8, for example, being at the top, and then you have different challenges below Fund 8. They divide the budget in different parts, and then you submit the proposals under each challenge.
And the submitted proposals are called ideas.
We are more used to call them proposals than ideas. Yeah.
Okay, propose. Okay. Then what is idea? Because in idscale, I have a button that says propose an idea or something like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You can use both words, yeah, but we usually call them proposals instead of ideas.
Okay, so proposals and ideas are the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That was very important because otherwise there is another thing that I don't understand. And my other question is, for the challenge teams, are they general, or are they somehow profiled? For example, if a team of engineers, electrical engineers, will evaluate the proposals for this field, and a team of computer scientists will evaluate the proposals for this challenge, and so
on. Actually, the challenge teams, they don't evaluate the proposals themselves. The community advisors are responsible for evaluating the proposals.
Yes, it was lapsus on my part.
Yeah, and there have been some discussions about this, but currently there's no like specialization for CAs. They can choose which proposals they can assess based on their own background, but there is nothing currently that prohibits someone from assessing any proposal, even if they don't have any background. But
yes, this is for the CAs.
For the CAs, yeah.
About the challenge team?
The challenge team, they just help they are specific for different challenges. Each challenge has their own challenge team, but they don't influence the proposals directly. They might help with some guidance and some background, but they are not assessing the proposals. And they don't need to be specialists. It's better if they are specialists, but they don't have to be.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Are there any other questions before we move on? Yeah, Brock.
I guess the biggest question that I have is, how do I basically get a crash course of everything, how everything works? I'm familiar with the ecosystem somewhat, I'll say that, but not exactly with everything that's to do with the Catalyst. Early on, I was into the Catalyst program in that I registered and voted on different projects, but as things progressed and I realized how, in my mind, incompetent I was when it comes to development and being able to really give insightful input into who would actually be able to deliver on their proposals, I kind of stepped back and pursued building out some of my own particular applications for projects that I am wanting to build. So I reached out to developers and stuff, but realistically, I would like to get more involved with the Catalyst program and throw things out to the community to have more discussion on basically how to build an MVP for a project that I would like to see developed, and if the Catalyst community would like to see it developed.
Yeah, so to answer your question, actually there is no single place that holds all the information available for Catalyst. Currently the information is kind of scattered, but there are some good references that try to bring together the most important information. There are two community-made landing pages for Catalyst, and we are also coming up with the Catalyst School website, and we want to put there all the information that we can to educate people about how Catalyst works and how to play the different roles. But I think that we are not going to be able to cover everything that's happening, because there are lots of things happening and lots of things coming up almost every week. But I think there are some references at the end of this presentation.
Okay.
All right, so moving on, how the Catalyst, how the funding cycle works. We have these 8 different phases within each funding cycle of Catalyst. First one is the insight sharing phase that lasts 1 week, and this is going to start tomorrow, and it happens inside idscale mainly. And the idea here is to brainstorm about the different challenges. For example, if you can think about a problem that you want to see solved that is related to some challenge, then you can create a topic there, a discussion about this, or if you have an idea, you can submit your idea there. And it's not a proposal yet. Proposal has to be submitted at least during the second phase, the proposal submission week. During this first phase, you can just submit different thoughts that you want to discuss about a specific challenge. And this is going to last 1 week. And for the first time, actually the second time now in Fund 8, as I mentioned during the town hall, we are going to have insight sharing workshops. We are taking this discussion out of idscale only, and we are bringing people in a live space so they can discuss. And the idea is to have domain experts, community advisors, proposers, and basically everyone who is interested in that specific challenge to discuss how it's going to be like, and what they want to see and what they want to do. And the hosts are going to go over the challenge itself to explain its objectives, its goals, and the KPIs that are going to be tracked as well. So at the end is collective brainstorm about the challenge. Any questions here? Okay, so the second week is the proposal submission week that also lasts 1 week. And during this time, idscale is open to new ideas, new proposals. So you can, at any time during this first week, you can choose one challenge and submit your idea there. And after this first week, this window is closed, but you can still edit your proposal for the next 2 weeks. And the second week is called proposal refinement. And this is when mostly the community provides feedback to proposers on how they could improve their proposals, what's missing. They can, for example, suggest partnerships with other proposers, or if they see two proposals very similar, they can suggest them to merge the proposals into a single one. And then there's another similar week, which is proposal finalizing, when the proposers are incentivized to finish their proposals, because after that they cannot edit them anymore. Yeah, James.
Yeah, sorry, just jumping back onto the insight sharing, because through a town hall breakout the other week, I had an idea that I thought I might try to put a proposal forward. It's quite a simple idea. Does it affect particularly your chances of getting funding if you actually use the insight sharing phase of the process, or because it's quite a simple idea, would it just a straightforward proposal make more sense, because people's time is valuable?
Actually, I think it doesn't affect much, but if it affects it anyhow, I would say that it's positive, because more people might be aware of your proposal if you submit it there in advance, 1 week before the submission phase. And people usually brainstorm, they go through all the ideas and they try to say something. So you can even have good insights on how to make your own proposal, your own project better.
Okay, great, thanks. That's brilliant.
Yep. Yeah,
And where do we go to join that conversation?
it's also
my internet.
I'm going to, it's a website called idscale. I'm going to share the link. I can share the link here right in the chat. I see that Kawi already did it. It's this one. I'm going to talk about it in a couple of slides, I think, and open it here and show you guys how it works.
Thank you. My internet's been cutting in and out, and I missed half this conversation.
No worries, no worries. So the next phase is the proposal assessment by CAs, by community advisors. And this phase also lasts 1 week. And that's when the community advisors are going to read the proposals, and they are going to assess them according to 3 different criteria. The first one is the impact of this proposal to the Cardano ecosystem. Second one is the feasibility, how likely this team is going to be successful at implementing and developing and delivering this proposal. And the auditability, which is how they are going to prove to the community that they are building and delivering each milestone of their roadmap throughout the time that they have to develop it, according to their own timeline. So they're going to assess proposals and give all of them 1 score per criteria. Then there is an average, and this is then reviewed by both the proposers and the VCAs in the next two phases. First one is the assessment review by proposers. Not only the VCAs, but also the proposers, they have some time to review the assessments because, for example, if the CA missed something from their proposal, if they think that it's unfair or the CA has been offensive somehow, they can flag the proposal, and the veteran community advisors in the next phase can check that the proposal has flagged that assessment. The proposer can write why they are flagging, why they think that this specific assessment should be filtered out. And it's the VCA's job to take their comment into consideration and make their own mind if they're going to filter out a specific assessment or not. And if they're not filtering out, they are going to classify each assessment as good or excellent, and this will influence the CA rewards by the end of the fund. So after all of this is done, there is the tallying and community voting phase, which lasts 3 weeks, and is basically when all the information that has been produced in the previous phases is gathered, and the proposals are presented to the whole community through the voting app in iOS and Android. I don't think they have a web version, desktop version yet. And yeah, basically every voter has the chance to vote for or against any proposal, and after that the winners are disclosed, and then the next phase, the next fund actually starts. Any other questions here before we move on?
I just want to share that it's very inconvenient that we have to vote through our phones, but the information on proposals is so large that it's impossible to read all of that on the phone.
Yeah. There is a link for voters to access the full proposal in idscale in the phone, because the voting app only shows a summary of the proposal, like the problem statement, the proposed solution, and the team's experience in the score given by CAs. All the other information needs to be checked in idscale itself. Okay, so just this is like almost a good to know, a curiosity, but you don't need to know about this, but it's nice to know. It's interesting at least. So we are distributing lots of ADA every 3 months. So this data needs to come from somewhere, right? The Catalyst treasury currently holds more than 800 million ADA, almost $1 billion currently. And this has started to accumulate in 2020, September 2020, epoch 205, something like this. And at that time, a small percentage of all transaction fees and staking profits has been directed to the Catalyst treasury. Actually, exactly 20% of all transaction fees go to the Catalyst treasury, and 80% goes to SPOs and their delegates. And so they are collected in the treasury, as I mentioned, that currently holds more than 800 million ADA, and it's spent through Project Catalyst in these funds that last 3 months. And in the future, Project Catalyst is going to be transformed into Voltaire. So this is the final governance phase of Cardano roadmap. And it's not going to be more Catalyst treasury, it's going to be the whole Cardano treasury. But the mechanism might be very similar as it is today. The IOHK team usually says that Catalyst is the incentivized testnet for Voltaire. And this is also why they used to say that this is an experiment, because they're trying different things, that they are trying to see how the community reacts, so this can help them building the mechanism that's going to be in place during the Voltaire era. Yeah, Brock.
I just wanted to clarify with the idea scale, would that be the place that I'd be wanting to look for technical help for developing team? Like, one thing we're needing right now is to be able to serialize and sign transactions without running a full node on the side chain. Is that where we go for help, or would we have a different resource that would be more suited for that?
There are different resources. I think you can do it in idscale as well, but might not be the best place. There is a community catalyst server in Discord, and there's a specific channel there for you to look for developers, for example, or general developers. There is also a IOG technical Discord server. If you are looking for Pluto developers or something more blockchain with more background related to blockchain, you can also ask for help there, for support there. But idscale is also a good resource.
Thank you very much.
So what does voting power mean? As I said, at the end of each fund, all the community can vote in proposals. They can vote for or against the proposals, and voting power is basically how much ADA you have staked, how much ADA you are using to vote for or against different proposals. So it is the weight of your vote. If you have 1,000 ADA, then your vote power is 1,000. If you have 10,000 ADA, then your voting power is 10 times higher than if you had just 1,000 ADA. And yeah, this is determined by the amount of staked ADA. And there have been some discussions about this, because this is not ideal, I would say, because you give more power to people who have more money at the end. But this has been chosen as the first approach because it avoids cyber attack. You cannot, for example, have someone creating millions of different wallets, so they could, like this, manipulate the system. And you could also argue that people who have more ADA, they have more skin in the game as well and should have more voting power. But this is something, as I said, that is being discussed and it's probably going to be improved in the future. So we don't have at least a direct relationship between the amount of money that you have in your voting power in the governance phase, which this is going to be at the end in the future. Any questions here? Moving on. So how does the voting system work? As I mentioned already, you can vote for or against proposals with your voting power, and also your voting power doesn't get divided or scattered between different proposals. If you have say 10,000 ADA, then your voting power is 10,000, and you use your whole voting power to vote for each proposal. You don't have to use, for example, 5,000 for proposal A and then 5,000 for proposal B. You use 10,000 for A and 10,000 for B to vote for or against. And at the end, the proposals get ranked per challenge. So you have the ones that got most number of votes. Actually, this is the net or the difference between votes for and against a specific proposal. And the funding will follow the ranking and the remaining budget as well. I'm going to explain this better. Actually, I'm going to open the results of Fund 7 so I can explain this with more details. Yeah, Ilya.
Yes, I was wondering about the negative voting, because I was thinking, how should I vote when I voted in Fund 7. And the decision that I made is to vote for positively for the proposals that I like, and vote with a negative power to the proposals that I really don't think should be implemented, and don't vote for anything else. But I don't know if that's the best way to vote, because if I want a certain proposals to have higher chances to be accepted, that means that I have to downvote everything else. So how do you vote?
Yeah, I would say that there is no completely right strategy here. But yeah, if you really like one proposal in a challenge, for example, you can vote for that proposal and against all the other ones. So you can do that, or you can also just vote for the ones you really like or against the ones you don't want to see funded because they look like scams or something like this. So there's not right answer. For me specifically, I only vote for the ones that I want to see funded, and I only vote against the ones that I think they are scams, or they are just trying to get easy money, or they are asking for a lot of money to do something very simple or something like this. But that's my personal strategy, not necessarily the best one. Probably not the best one.
I'm glad that I picked a strategy like yours, because you have more experience than I do.
So there just some explanation to understand this document here. After the voting phase, the proposals can be either funded, not funded, or not approved. So funded means that they received at least 15 more upvotes than downvotes, or 15 more yeses than nos, and at least 1% of the total stake that participated in that fund participated in the voting of this specific proposal as well. So if that happens, and also if there's still budget available, then a proposal gets funded. But if they met the criteria of at least 15% more yes than no's and 1% total stake, but there's no enough budget, then they are not funded. And if this criteria here is not met, then they are not approved. So let's pick one example here. So these are the winners of each specific challenge, but this is just a summary of the results. If I go down here, we can see more details about each challenge. For example, this one, AI and SingularityNet, a $5 trillion market. The budget of this challenge was 500,000 ADA, and you can see the list of proposals based on the voting result. As I said, this is vote yes minus vote no, and they are ranked here like that. So the first one got funded. They asked for $120,000. So the funds remaining after this first proposal got funded is 500,000 minus this one, which is $380,000. So the same happens for every proposal. At least usually the first ones get funded, and then we got this one. As you see, the remaining funding when we got this proposal was approximately $27,000, and this proposal was asking for $35,000. So it was approved, but there was not enough budget for it to get funded, so it was not funded. It was skipped, and the next one only asked for $9,900, and this one got funded. So all, as you can see here as well, following ones didn't get funded until there was one that was asking for 16,000, which was within the budget, and this was the last one funded within this challenge. Below this threshold here, these proposals didn't get funding because they were not even approved by the community as well. For example, you can see here there was a proposal asking for $42 only, and it was not approved, even though it was within the budget. It didn't receive the money. And asking for $42, it's I would say a bit suspicious here. I didn't read this proposal. I'm not judging them, but it is at least a bit suspicious. And you can see the same results for all the other challenges here as well. The link, you can access these results through the presentation itself. You can click on Fund 7 results. I'm going to share the link here as well in the chat. And I'm going to show afterwards a specific page within idscale where you can find the results from all previous challenges. So coming back, talking about idscale now. I'm sorry, are there any questions about the voting process? Yeah, Brock.
Yeah, I was just curious about if, for example, I have done it in the past where I've upvoted and then changed my mind and wanted to neutralize the vote without doing a down vote. Is that possible?
I think currently, no. If you vote for a proposal, you cannot change your decision about that proposal. What you can do, if you want, as you said, if you want to neutralize somehow your vote for that proposal, you can upvote all the other proposals in that challenge, because then you are giving the same voting power to everyone. So at the end, it doesn't make any difference. But you cannot change a vote after you've casted it, because it's in the blockchain already. But you can vote in parts. You can vote for certain proposals, and then 2 days after you can vote for other ones. So, yep. All right. So if there are no more questions, let's move on. So what is idscale that I've been talking about since the beginning of the presentation here of the workshop? It is the website where proposals are officially submitted. It's a place where community members can provide feedback to proposers, and all the information that is there is checked by IUG. Because as I said, there are some community-made landing pages and websites, and we cannot be completely sure that the information that's there is completely right, but we can be sure that the information that is in idscale is the right one. So let me show you guys how idscale works, how it looks like. So this is the landing page, actually the home page of idscale. You can see some brief information here about Catalyst, how it works, and these are the active campaigns now in Fund 8. Each one of these is a different challenge or a different category. And you can see here the number of ideas that were submitted since Fund 8 is going to start tomorrow. There are no ideas here, so it's 0 for every challenge. But if you scroll down, you can see there is another section here, Project Catalyst Problem Sensing, where people at any time can submit ideas here on how to improve Catalyst itself. This is not related to a specific fund, and this is not a proposal that you're going to submit. It's just a place to brainstorm on how to make things better in Catalyst. So let's see if I have to log in or I can open the challenge. Oh yeah, I have to log in. So for this challenge, for example, you can see the title, total budget of the challenge, and the guiding question of the challenge. How can we create a positive developer experience that helps the developer focus on building successful apps? And the campaign brief with some more guiding questions, some potential directions for the proposers. How does it compare to the open source development ecosystem? There is another challenge called open source development ecosystem. They are very similar, but not exactly the same. And this explains how they're different, why the challenge is important, and what the success look like of this challenge, of which proposals should be submitted and funded, and some key metrics to measure, some KPIs, some key performance indicators, how to measure, what KPIs to measure for the funded proposals and for the challenge as a whole as well. So we don't have them here yet because it's not open yet, but maybe I can. The interface has changed recently, so let me check. I think it's here. I can open, yeah, previous campaign from previous fund. This was Fund 7 boosting Cardano's DeFi. Here you can see the proposals that were submitted there. Let me change how they appear. So you can see the title, the proposer, and their status. Now they are all in reserve because this fund was closed already. But if you open one of the ideas, you can see in this case, just seeing the problem statement. Let me see if open one. I think I cannot see it all because it's closed already. Not sure. As I mentioned, this has changed recently, but in the next one you will be able to see the problem statement, the solution, the team, and the detailed plan on how they want to implement. Some more information about the proposal itself, how much money they are asking for, and all the other details. And if you want to see results from previous funds, you can come here, voting results, and you can open the results of all funds since Fund 1. So any questions here? There is also a frequently asked questions page. Just open it here in same place as the voting results. And there are some very basic questions here about idscale and how it works, if you want to take a look afterwards. So if there are no questions, let's go back to the presentation. Oh yeah, actually this was the last slide. Here are some links to our different platforms, to our groups in different platforms: Discord, Telegram, email, website, and Linktree. In the Linktree, you can see some links also for to our Telegram, Discord, YouTube, and Twitter. But there are here some links to the workshops of the Insight Sharing Workshop series that are going to happen next week. You can click on them and add them to your calendar, Google Calendar or Outlook or anything else. And we are going to include as well the other workshops on introduction to Catalyst, how to propose in Catalyst, how to be a community advisor and veteran community advisor, and basically anything that comes up, we are going to add them here. And also in our website, it is not up to date currently. This is the old interface, but we are creating a new one, and we are going to have all the content from these workshops, probably more content than what we present during the workshops. It's going to be available here, and you are going to be able to create your profile, subscribe to mailing lists, and check what we are doing over time. And that's it. Any questions about any topic we discussed here today? Yeah, James.
Hi, yeah. It was just on the proposal form, because I noticed that there's sort of a certain number of characters that you're allowed to use in each section, and obviously with the complexity of some of these projects, I can understand that it needs to be reasonably concise, because if people are going to go through a number of them, they've got to get the essence of the project. But for something really complicated, how do people put over the information that's needed? Is there a sort of a way you can direct people for big, like a lot mostly white papers and things like that?
Yeah. Actually, it's on purpose, and this limitation is it only exists in the first 3 sections, which are the problem statement, the solution description, and the team description. But below that, there's the detailed plan that has no limitation. You can put everything there. You can even attach documents, images, anything you want to. But this information that's limited, I think it's 150 characters, right? This is what's going to show up to the voters at the end. They don't need to know all the details. If they want to know the details, they can go to idscale, but they have to know which problem you are proposing to solve, and what is your proposed solution, and what's your background. Yeah. Any other questions? If there are no further questions, thank you, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst. Welcome to the Catalyst School, and I hope to see you guys around.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's great.